Hi, I'm Renee. This is Renée, and I thought that I would continue the series that I'm putting together on the steps for change and transformation. Um, I'm an American. I moved to France in the summer, hello birds, in the summer of 2024 after saying yes to a lifelong dream that I had had for since I was a small child. I had held it for that long, and for various reasons, it didn't happen sooner. But these steps, and now having worked in the field of change and transformation for several decades now, helping large corporations through significant change, as well as now helping individuals through their own transformations. It really kind of highlights, what pieces of these steps were likely missing for me early on in my life, and why I didn't just move to France to go to college, or to move right after college and start a life here, and all of that. Because I will say that the single regret that I have um, now being here is that I didn't do it sooner. So in the last video, you would have seen, if you saw it, I can make sure to link that one below as well, was the first step to all of the stages of transformation. And that first step is becoming aware, just really recognizing that something doesn't feel right anymore, that there's kind of a tug at your heart. So that's the first step, awareness. This second step is really about dismantling or releasing your current identity. So the way that I would look at this, thank you, Paolo, for coming and wanting to say hello. Say hello. Yes, you went through your own transformation now that you became a little French dog, huh? Yeah. So the way that I think about this and apply it as an example to my situation was that in order for me to say yes to moving to France, I had to be able to see myself in a life in France. I had that door at least had to be cracked open. If you are so attached to your identity, the way your beliefs and structures are right now, that it doesn't open yourself to the possibility of the change that you want to happen, then it's going to be very difficult to say yes. It's going to be very difficult to actually action the change. You need to be able to see yourself in it. It's partly why one of the things I like to do with my corporate teams who are making changes, usually around technology and systems and processes, is I want those teams to be able to see in their mind's eye what their job or their part in that process, or the technology, what that might look like when we're done. I want them to have that kind of level of understanding, because if they can see that, then it opens that door to make change easier for them individually. As a team, it will make the change easier, and it will allow us to make the transformation in a much more meaningful way. And what do I mean by that? So, if you are so attached to your belief or to the structure, if I would have been so attached to my life in San Diego that I saw myself, my identity was so attached to being a resident of San Diego or a resident of California or the United States, if I would have been so attached to that, that I wouldn't have been able to see myself as possibly a resident of France, then saying yes would have felt like just way too big of a step, because it would have felt like a shattering of my identity. Where if I can begin to dismantle that identity and release that and create an opening for the identity of the new, the change becomes much easier to navigate. Because you find yourself, as you begin to loosen that old identity, and and you kind of open the door to the new, but it's not quite yet formed. Like, I lived for a year and a half in this kind of what I would call the in between state, where I had left the United States, I had moved, but I didn't have a permanent house yet. I didn't, like, I still had a list of things to do. So I wasn't like grounded in being assured that I was going to be able to stay beyond the year. There was just so much in flight, and that where you're dying to the old, you've let go of that old, but the new isn't quite fully formed and baked yet. It can feel very chaotic. It's very, you just have a difficult time feeling grounded. But if you can know that you're in that in between stage, and you can know and keep your eye toward that door that you've opened, keep visualizing that life that is about to become, or that change that is about to become. If you're trying to, if your transformation is, I don't know, losing 30 pounds, like, you want to be able to begin to see yourself as that thinner person, as that healthier person, perhaps. Whatever the change is for you, maybe it's a new job or a new career, whatever it is, you have to be able to see yourself in that future state to try. That will help you begin to release and kind of dismantle this old identity, you know? Um, so it feels like, when you're letting go of those attachments to the old, the expectations that you had, um, all of the, maybe the fears of the new, all of that keeps you very much grounded and anchored in the past, which then makes it very hard to move into the future. If you kind of think of it, those things as a chain, a ball and chain around your ankle, of all of those expectations for what your life was going to be, or your expectations or attachments around that old life that you had, it's very difficult then to move into the new. So releasing those is so key to getting through this next step and being able to move into and through a graceful transition. This will feel like a death. It is. Shamanically, death always precedes a rebirth. So when you die to your old self, when you die to the old way that things were, there is a rebirth that occurs. You become a new version of yourself. Over the last year and a half of making this transition, I have definitely become a new version of me. Things that were important to me a year and a half ago aren't so much anymore. Lots of things have changed, and I have desired that change. I've been open to that change, and really feeling my way into it, not deciding what I wanted it to look like ahead of time, because that can then create a constriction where you don't allow the new things to flow through you that want to naturally come to you if you pre-decide how things are going to be. If I would have decided ahead of time what my life here in France was going to be like, or how my experience with administration was going to be, it would have been a recipe for disaster. I would have driven myself crazy, first of all, and it just would have been a very struggle filled experience. And I didn't want that. So I really focused on releasing any expectations and just allowing, staying true to my general course, but not getting too attached to it, and allowing the things to just come. So that's dismantling and releasing. That is the second phase of transformation and change. I hope that this video will help you in some way if you are looking at your own transformation, particularly maybe moving into the new year. You have a big change that you'd like to make. So I hope these videos will be helpful in that. If you would like additional help from me, there are links below for that to happen. And there's some freebies and things that you can find on my site to help you get clarity around any changes that you'd like to make. But I will leave that there. I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope to see you again here soon. And I'm looking at the lovely Provence sky as the sun is actually setting over there. Um, amazing views here. So I will leave it there. A bientôt.